Check, check, check. How is it going, guys? Drew Peacock here, back with another episode of Between Two Cars, where we talk about car-related stuff, and sometimes Call of Duty. Today, we are talking about weight reduction, and why you're stupid if you do it. Not exactly, but we're going to talk about weight reduction, mainly why 90% of the time it's not needed, and at the same time, there's better alternatives that will actually make you faster. So, let's go ahead and dive right in. Now, what is weight reduction, Drew? I'm glad you asked. If you are living under a rock and don't understand words, weight reduction is the action of reducing weight. Well, how do you do that, Drew? Well, let's say you have a Mustang GT. Well, some people, when they have a Mustang GT, they want it to be a little skinny or a little lighter. And instead of going on a diet themselves, they want to rip weight out of the car by removing things that they don't need or want. So if you have no friends, you can remove the back seats. If you never plan on breaking down, you can remove the spare tire. If you don't like music, you can remove the radio. There are many things you can remove that will reduce the weight of a vehicle. And everybody knows the lighter something is, the faster it is. So that is partially true. Now let me explain something real quick. This goes for 90% of cars. Weight reduction is pointless. Keep your rear seats in there. Keep your shit in there. Maybe remove your spare, but removing your rear seats, if you've ever done it and held them, they weigh practically nothing. It is foam and a little bit of metal, very little, just for the mounting, and cloth. It probably weighs 5 to 10 pounds total. And that is a high estimate. I don't even think they weigh that much. I remember I was gonna remove the plastics and the seats out of the Honda, and my boy Eric was like, dude, you're gonna save maybe 12 pounds. And I was like, well, that's not worth it. I'll just won't wear a sweater that day, you know, or I'll just lose weight myself. Literally, for most people, removing weight out of their car like that isn't worth it. So I just wouldn't recommend doing it in that sense. Let me pull out my notes really quick. Removing your rear seats, removing your trim in your trunk, you're just making your car more of a shit box. Now, we will talk about when weight reduction is needed or warranted, I guess, but for most of you guys, and me included, just leave your shit in there. It's really not worth it. The cons far outweigh the pros. It's not even a measurable amount. If you did a back-to-back test with your rear seats in and your rear seats out on a draggy, it's gonna be the same. You're not gonna be any faster. You might think you're faster, but you're not gonna be any faster. It is an unmeasurable amount. So don't. Unless you're removing over 100 plus pounds, it is negligible. So just don't bother. So yeah, rear seats weigh nothing. If you paired it with rear seats, you got aftermarket front seats that are lighter, and you gutted the whole rear, yeah, you'd probably lose weight, but that's also bad too, because let me explain. Now you have, depending on your circumstances, a car that is more off balance. Let's say you managed to get 100 pounds off of the rear of the vehicle. Good, congratulations. Congratulations, round of applause for you. What you have done now is made your car handle horribly. Not quite, but depending on what you're building your car for, let's say road course, let's say it's a track car, let's say you're going to the track, you're going to Radiator Springs and you're going to the track. Okay, why would you want to remove weight over the rear end? You wouldn't. You wouldn't want to do that. If anything, you would want to add weight to the rear end because on most rear-wheel drive vehicles, the rear end is lighter and it's off balance and you're front heavy. So you want to relocate the rear or the weight from the front to the rear. So you wouldn't want to do that, which is why I wouldn't do that personally. Now, if you have a Honda, a front-wheel drive vehicle, it changes it a little bit, but today we're going to talk about men's cars. We're going to be talking about rear-wheel drive cars. So you wouldn't want to remove the weight over the rear and unbalance your car. Now, for a drag car, would you want to do that? No, of course not. You wouldn't want to do that either. Why? Because now you've taken the weight over the rear wheels out. You're essentially making your car into a truck, and trucks don't have great traction because there's not a bunch of weight over the rear wheels. So you can't do that. When I bought my Mustang, it had everything gutted from the rear seats back. So I have no rear seats, no carpet, no trunk, no nothing. Like everything is gutted. Probably saved, including the spare, maybe 75 pounds, maybe. And yeah, I kind of wish it wasn't gutted. I wish I kind of had a trunk and a carpet and stuff like that. Because one, the car is ridiculously loud, and two, I actually had to add weight over the rear to help have the car hook. So kind of defeats the fucking purpose of removing it all if I had to add weight anyways. You see what I'm saying? It's just, the cons far outweigh the pros. Now there is a proper way of doing weight reduction, and that is by doing weight redistribution. So here is how a smart person would do weight reduction. All right, Drew, nice Corvette. We went ahead and removed 50 pounds from your trunk. 50 pounds, great, congratulations. Yeah, we took out blah, 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 we removed it from your trunk. Amazing. But how do we solve the problem from keeping it balanced? Well, we're gonna take your battery from up here and put it into the trunk. So now that 50 pounds that was there before has been redistributed. So the balance stays the same. This is a bad example because the Corvette already has the battery in the rear, but a Mustang would be a great example. Essentially, I have 200 pounds of sand in my trunk on the Mustang to help me hook. Hopefully with this next mod, I won't need that, but we'll get into that in another video. But essentially, if I took my battery from the front of the car and relocated it to the rear, well, now I don't need to run an extra sandbag because I have the weight over here, and it also lightens up the front end, promoting weight transfer. See how that works? Essentially, let me get my little model Supra here. Essentially, we want the weight to be under the tires that need it. And for a straight line car like a Mustang or a Supra, if you relocate weight from here back here, now when you get on it and the car squats, this is easier to pick up and this is easier to push down. See how that works? It's very simple. It's simple, simple, simple. You don't want to just relocate shit because that is how you damage or hurt your car's performance. Removing a bunch of weight, going crazy and gutting everything but your seat, your dash, and your steering wheel, it just hurts stuff. Just don't do that. It's not a good idea. Weight redistribution is the way to do it. Also, another way to do it is, let's say you remove weight back there, but your battery's already back there. Oh no, what do we do? What do we do? Well, essentially, you have to remove something from the front then. So you have to find a component up here that you don't need and remove it. EVAP, AC, power steering, stuff like that. I wouldn't recommend power steering. Some people can live without AC. Again, this is for hardcore track guys. More than likely are going to do shit like this. A street car, which is why I say weight reduction isn't worth it, doesn't need its AC removed. Please don't remove it. I have multiple cars without AC. It's miserable. I hate that shit. The Mustang doesn't have AC, and the Supra, once it's back, probably won't have AC for a while. And if I can find a sponsor that will help out with adding AC to the car, we will do that. But do not remove AC from your cars. Very, very bad idea. It is miserable. But essentially, you can help keep the balance by mimicking what you do in the rear or to the front, to the rear. You know, you got to do one side, you got to do the other. It's kind of like aero. You can't just throw a big wing on a car and expect it to help your car handle. You can't. You have to balance it out. If you throw a big wing, you have to throw a big front splitter. You have to balance it out, or else your car is going to be unbalanced. So just don't rip shit out. It is not smart. It is not helping you out. Road course, drag racing, a lot of the time, it's not helping you out. Again, unless you're doing weight redistribution, it's not helping you out. If you remove weight, but you add a roll cage, I would consider that weight redistribution. You are trading weight. If you remove weight from the trunk, but you add an ice tank, I would consider that weight redistribution. If you're removing weight from the trunk and you're adding nitrous bottles, I would consider that weight redistribution. It's not weight reduction because it's not getting any lighter, but you are replacing, you are redistributing, you're changing it, but it's staying the same. So be smart, please. All right. Emptying your trunk will lessen weight over the rear tires. We already talked about that. Gutting your interior makes it a shit box. I agree with this. Very much true. It is not pleasant to have a gutted car. I will not remove, I will not remove a single piece from this car because I don't want it to be a shit box. It's not worth it, really. It is not worth it. It sucks having drone. It sucks hearing everything, all of the road noise. It sucks. The Mustang is really loud and really uncomfortable to drive around. And I've actually started working on putting like paneling in there, like a seat delete kit, homemade. I have a lot of aluminum sheeting, and I did a back block off plate. I might leave the bottoms exposed, but point is, you gotta be smart about it. You can't just remove shit. So don't just remove shit. Please don't. It is really not worth it. So yeah, don't make it a shit box, especially if you have a newer, nicer car. Don't do it. Again, some cars can benefit more, like a Honda, because they're front wheel drive. So removing weight over the rear doesn't really do anything. But you're just making it more of a shit box, and you're not going any faster. Your cheap Honda plastics and your cheap Honda seats, they're not saving that much weight. So just don't even bother. Honestly, not even worth it. Wouldn't do it unless it's a dedicated race car. I agree. Well, of course I agree, because I wrote down these points. But if you are building a dedicated race car and the car's going to get a cage and going to get this and that, that's the only time I would recommend doing it. I would not do it if it doesn't have those things. It's just not worth it for a street car to be fully gutted. I'm talking from experience. Don't do it. It is not worth it. It's not, again, it's not measurable. You're not going to be any faster. We will talk about weight reduction at the end of this video. That will make you faster, but removing your seats will not. And I'm just trying to hammer that in because people are just ruining their cars. Just don't do it. Please don't do it. Weight redistribution is better. We already covered that. If you're going to remove something from one area of the car, redistribute it somehow by either adding a component or relocating something from the front to the rear or rear to the front, vice versa. You get what I'm saying? Let's talk about lightweight paneling. So a very popular thing is like carbon fiber hood, carbon fiber trunk, carbon fiber fenders. First of all, fenders weigh nothing. So switching these out to carbon fiber doesn't do much. If you are doing it because it adds a little vent or something, I get it, but you're not getting any lighter by doing a carbon fiber fender. I have my super fenders off of my car, and they probably weigh about the same as a set of carbon fiber or fiberglass fenders. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. But a carbon fiber hood can help lighten your car. A carbon fiber trunk or hatch can help lighten your car. And the biggest one are carbon fiber doors. Now, the downside to carbon fiber doors are if you get T-boned, you're dead. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. You are dead. You are dead. You are smushed. You are juiced. You are pressed. You are DED. You are dead. So if you are racing your vehicle and you spin out and you wrap it around a tree, cooked. If you spin out, wrap it around a pole, cooked. If you get T-boned, cooked. You're done. So I wouldn't recommend doing doors, again, unless it's a dedicated race car. If you're driving it on the street, do not do your doors. You are dead. I wonder how GM does it with these fiberglass doors. I wonder how they do it. Point is, they engineered it. There's a reason why the Corvette costs money and China carbon fiber companies don't have that, charge. So just don't do doors unless it's a dedicated race car. But I would also say if you are going to do your hood, you should try to distribute it and do your trunk or do your hatch or do whatever. But fenders, doors, not really worth it. Hood, trunk are worth it. Carbon top, maybe worth it. I don't know. All right, so we talked about that a little bit. Not necessarily pointless, just not worth it most of the time. So this kind of harps what I was saying earlier, where yes, you can make your car faster, obviously, with weight reduction. Yes, you can. But for most people, it is not, oh my God, I don't know why I'm yawning so much. For most people, it is just not worth it. Just flat out not worth it. It is so negligible that it is not worth it. My boy Eric has a Camaro Chevy SS sedan. I doubt he will ever have anybody sit in the rear of that car, but he is not going to remove the seats because it is not going to matter. It is not going to matter. It's just not worth it. Again, unless it's a dedicated race car, don't do it. It's just not worth it. It is unmeasurable. Your car's going to be a shitbox. Not worth it. So don't do it. Here we go. Now you might be wondering, Drew, you've been teasing us. You've been blue balling us. You've been telling us, well, there's a way to make my car faster with weight reduction. What if I told you you could keep all of your interior components and you can make your car faster by still doing weight reduction? Well, Drew, that sounds impossible. What kind of magic is this? The magic of science. Science for all. Essentially, the simple answer is rotational mass. That's a big word, Drew. What does that mean? Rotational mass is mass that is rotating. See what I did there? Let's look at it like this. Perfect. I have a wheel right here I can demonstrate with because it rotates. Let me wheel this over here. These came back from Texas yesterday, so it works out kind of perfect. All right, let's look at this wheel really quick. Oh, I have a scale too. Perfect. So we could weigh it and everything. We could see how much this 18-inch wheel. Is this an 18-inch? Is it an 18 or 19? Doesn't matter. I think it's an 18. Let me turn on the scale really quick. And let's drop it on there. This wheel weighs 48.0 pounds. 48 pounds flat. So, how can we make it lighter? Well, if we have a different wheel, which I don't have in here, and the other wheel weighs less, then the other wheel is going to make you faster. Now, ESR AP6s, which are these, are really lightweight, so I don't know if we'll find anything less than this, but I will go get another wheel that we can demonstrate with. All right, I'm back. Let me move the AP6 real quick. Go fuck off over there. This is, oh God, don't. This is a CCW off of my Supra. They are similar sizes, both 18s. This one is a little wider, and it's a 3-piece wheel, so I'm expecting it to be heavier, but let's see how much heavier it actually is. It's not much wider. I think it's two sizes bigger. Come on, turn on. Yeah, there we go. Let's see. Oh God, it feels heavier. Okay, this wheel is 10.5 pounds heavier. It weighs 58 pounds. That one weighs 48 pounds. So it is obviously heavier than the ESR. So what if we took a factory wheel that weighed 58 pounds and we put on a lightweight wheel that weighs 48 pounds? Well, now you're saving 10 pounds of rotational mass. And why is rotational mass important? Because rotational mass directly steals horsepower. This is a measurable amount that you can actually see on a dyno. If you have a set of these wheels and you're on a roller dyno and you do a pass, it's going to be slower than with a lighter wheel, especially 10 pounds lighter. That is a big difference. So if you find where your rotational mass can be cut, then you can make your car faster. That thing's gonna crash again. That's fine. So where are some areas where you can remove rotational mass? Let's talk about that. Obviously, number one, wheels. If you have a heavy ass set of chonkers like this, then yeah, you're not gonna have the best traction. It's just not gonna happen. Not the best traction. You're not gonna have the lightest rotational mass. You're gonna be slower. So wheels, number one, would not be, you wouldn't want a heavy set of wheels. Damn, these tires are like super fresh. That's crazy. I think I literally drove to Vegas and back on these and they still look brand new. Anyways, point is, rotational mass, wheels. Great area to remove that. Where else? Drive shafts. You can get lightweight aluminum or even carbon fiber drive shafts. Drive shafts, if you've ever felt like a steel one, they're fucking heavy. Like you can remove some serious weight, 7 to 10 pounds with a lightweight drive shaft. Especially if it removes a second like bearing or joint. If it's a 2-piece drive shaft, if you remove that, you're removing a lot of weight. Like right then and there, drive shaft is a great spot to remove weight from. Also, brakes. Depending on your car's setup, you don't need massive brakes. So a lot of newer cars, they will come with gigantic 15-inch, 16-inch discs, something massive like that. You don't need that for a drag car. You can simply get drag brakes, and drag brakes are really small, and they make it so you can brake after a pass, and they cool down. Wouldn't recommend if you're doing highway runs, wouldn't recommend if you're doing like road course stuff, but brakes are a great area. You can do rear brake conversions where sometimes on newer sports cars, they come with massive rear brakes. You don't need massive rear brakes unless it's like a track car. So you can do like a 15-inch rear brake conversion, so that way you can fit a tiny wheel on there, like a 15-inch drag slick, and you can have less weight, less rotational mass, and all of that adding up will make your car faster. You can also do lightweight pulleys. These are measurable as well. So these are off of the Supra. They are kind of dirty, but this is a lightweight aluminum pulley. This one is, I believe, for the power steering pump. So you can see it's just a nice little aluminum pulley. Obviously it's dirty. It was in a fire, but it is still good. I just got to clean it up. If you do lightweight pulleys, it is actually different enough to where we needed to readjust our idle. That it was idling way too high with just swapping out pulleys. Just changing little things like that. It was idling way too high. So, and if you want to go even crazier, you do a dampener, a lightweight dampener. I had one here, I actually just threw it out. But on the Mustang, we took off the factory dampener, which weighed 15 pounds, put on a 10-pound fluid dampener, and that's 5 pounds of rotational mass right off of the crank. Massive, absolutely massive. My hands are dirty, I need to wash them. But point is, there's ways to actually reduce your car's weight that is more beneficial than doing it the hood rat way of just ripping everything out. You can also do like lightweight lug nuts, but they're not super necessary. Like I have titanium lug nuts on the Mustang and the Supra. Not necessary because it's such a negligible amount, but you know, if you want to go crazy, every ounce counts, I guess. That would be a good way to do it. But I think for the most part, that's how I would do it. That's how I do it, is just reducing rotational mass. When I was shopping for wheels, I was shopping for, besides the Supra CCWs, I was shopping for the lightest wheel possible. And keeping that in mind also with price. And like I said, the ESR AP6, you can see it is 10 pounds lighter than this wheel. And they are similar sizes. Not exactly, this one's obviously a little wider and it has a little bit of a bigger tire on it. But they're both 18s. I think this is a 18 by, I don't know, 18 by 11. And that's like an 18 by 10. So they're close. But you can buy lighter things. That's how I would do it. That's how you make your car faster, not by ripping out your seats, by reducing rotational mass. So hopefully this was educational. Hopefully you guys understand what I'm getting at. You can do either or. You can even combine the two and be even faster. But it's really not worth it. You can just make your car lighter and faster by doing simpler things. So yeah, hopefully this is nice. Hopefully this helped you guys out. I'm trying to think if I missed anything of rotational mass. I don't think so. Wheels, drive shaft, pulleys. It's kind of the basics of it, but thumbs up for that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully I helped you guys out, and hopefully you guys are going out and winning more races. Thank you guys for watching, and until next video, peace.